Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old as gold, but these Jefferson Nickel 5-cent coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Number 1. Today's episode will take us deep into the heart of American numismatics to uncover the surprising story behind one small coin with a big reputation, the 1964 Jefferson Nickel. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might find yourself checking every nickel you come across. Why? Because this modest 5-cent piece could be hiding a fortune in plain sight. Let's start with the basics, but trust me, this story gets far more thrilling the deeper we go. Back in 1964, the United States was on the brink of a major change in its coinage. It was the height of the coin shortage, a time when coins were disappearing from circulation at alarming rates. The country was booming, vending machines were everywhere, and people were hoarding silver coins for their metal value. As a result, the U.S. Mint ramped up production, and the Jefferson Nickel was right at the center of this frenzy. The Jefferson Nickel had already been circulating since 1938, featuring the third U.S. president, Thomas Jefferson, on the front, and his famous home, Monticello, on the reverse. But in 1964, the Mint struck a staggering number of these coins, over 1.7 billion in total. That makes it sound common, right? Here's where things start to get interesting. Even though billions were made, not all 1964 Jefferson Nickels are the same. Among this ocean of coins, a few incredibly rare versions were struck in ways that were never meant for public hands. Some experts believe these special coins were minted under mysterious or unauthorized circumstances. These ultra-rare examples may include coins struck on special proof dies, coins made with unique metal compositions, or even coins with incredibly crisp, full steps on Monticello, something collectors obsess over. And now let's take a closer look at the coin itself. The obverse proudly displays Jefferson's profile, designed by Felix Schlag. But if you turn it over, you'll see what collectors are hunting for: Monticello. Not just any Monticello, but one with sharp, clear, uninterrupted steps. These are called full-step nickels and are a benchmark of quality in the world of coin collecting. Finding a 1964 Jefferson Nickel with full steps is already rare. Finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition? Even rarer. But the real prize comes with coins that defy explanation, those struck in proof condition or bearing subtle but significant mint errors. Let's talk about those errors for a second. Some rare 1964 Jefferson Nickels were struck on planchets meant for other coins, like the silver 1964 dime or even foreign currency blanks. Others may show double dies, off-center strikes, or extremely high reliefs. These are anomalies that transform an average coin into a collectible marvel. Coins with these errors are incredibly hard to find, but collectors who know what to look for are always on the hunt. So what makes this coin so appealing to collectors and historians alike? It's the mystery. It's the possibility. It's the fact that this humble 5-cent piece, minted during one of the most chaotic moments in U.S. mint history, could be hiding a story worth telling and a value worth chasing. Across coin shows, auctions, and private sales, the rare 1964 Jefferson Nickel has continued to attract serious attention. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for the best specimens, especially those with unusual features or mint-state condition. But here's what you've all been waiting for. Are you sitting down? Because a truly rare version of the 1964 Jefferson Nickel, with exceptional characteristics and near-perfect preservation, has been valued at an astonishing $83,000. Yes, you heard that right. One coin. 5 cents in face value. Worth $83,000. If that doesn't have you checking your change jar right now, I don't know what will. So before you toss aside that nickel, take a good look. Check the date. Look at the steps on Monticello. Watch for unusual finishes or mint marks. Because you just might be holding a small piece of American history, and possibly a very big payday. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through one of America's most surprising coins. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the mystery and value behind the 1964 Jefferson Nickel, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more treasure hunting stories, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a rare find. Until next time, happy hunting, and may your next nickel be the one worth more than a new car. Number 2. We're diving into one of the most surprising stories in American coinage, a coin that most people overlook every day. We're talking about the 1987 Jefferson Nickel, with the Denver mint mark. A small coin with a huge secret. Welcome back, everyone. If you're new here, you've landed in the right place. This is where coin legends come alive, and pocket change turns into treasure. Buckle in, because today's journey is going to turn your understanding of the 5-cent coin completely upside down. Let's rewind to the late 1980s. The year is 1987. Ronald Reagan is in the White House, the Cold War is winding down, and Michael Jackson and Madonna dominate the charts. In the world of coinage, the US Mint is humming along smoothly, producing millions of coins a day. Among them, the Jefferson Nickel, one of America's longest-running coin designs, continues to be minted, just as it had been since 1938. On the surface, the 1987 Jefferson Nickel looks ordinary. It carries the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag, and the iconic Monticello building on the reverse. The D Mint mark under the date indicates it was struck at the Denver Mint, which produced hundreds of millions of these that year. So how could something so common turn into something worth a small fortune? The answer, as always in the world of coin collecting, is hidden in the details. You see, not all coins minted in 1987 were created equal. The vast majority were mass-produced for everyday use: vending machines, gas stations, parking meters. But just a few, a microscopic fraction, were struck under unusual conditions. Some were minted with extremely sharp dies, resulting in what's known as full-step nickels, where the steps on Monticello appear perfectly defined and unbroken. Others were struck on the wrong type of planchet, meaning the blank metal disc wasn't even meant for a nickel at all. It gets even more intriguing. There are whispers in the coin community of a rare variant of the 1987 Jefferson Nickel that has struck collectors with disbelief. These are the coins that slipped through quality control or were struck with die errors, double dies, off-center strikes, rotated dies, or unusual metallic compositions. They're out there, and every once in a while, one surfaces and sets the numismatic world buzzing. But why does this matter? Because condition and rarity are everything. A well-preserved, mint-state 1987 Jefferson Nickel is already desirable among collectors who specialize in modern U.S. coins. But if it includes a rare error or unique minting characteristic, its value skyrockets. We're talking about a coin that not only tells the story of American history, but also represents a freak occurrence in the production process, a perfect storm of precision, timing, and anomaly. And now imagine you come across one of these in your change. Imagine spotting that Denver Mint mark on a shiny 1987 nickel. Maybe it catches your eye because of how perfectly detailed it looks. Maybe there's something just slightly off about it. If you're lucky enough to find one of the ultra-rare variants and you get it authenticated by a professional grading service, your humble nickel could become the centerpiece of a collector's dream. And here's the part you've been waiting for. One such ultra-rare 1987 Jefferson Nickel, struck in extraordinary condition with a highly sought-after error, has been valued at an astonishing $68,000. Yes, you heard that right. $68,000. For a coin that most people would spend without a second thought. So the next time you find a nickel in your car, on your kitchen counter, or at the bottom of your wallet, take a closer look. That little 5-cent coin might be far more valuable than you realize. And if it says 1987 with a little d under the date, don't ignore it. You could be holding a slice of American minting history, and possibly your next big payday. Number 3. We're diving deep into one of the most intriguing coins to ever roll off the presses at the Philadelphia Mint, the 1990 Jefferson Nickel with the P Mint mark. Now, before you think, oh, it's just another modern coin, hold on tight, because this story is going to surprise you. Let's go back to 1990. The U.S. economy is shifting. It's a new decade, and the country is coming out of the economic boom of the 1980s. Computers are becoming more common in homes, and the U.S. Mint is pushing out coins at full force to keep up with growing commerce. Among the millions of coins minted that year, the Jefferson Nickel, featuring Thomas Jefferson on the front and Monticello on the reverse, continued its decades-long run. Most of the 1990 nickels were everyday coins meant for gas stations, lunch money, and soda machines. The Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of them with the tiny p under the year. So how could something that common be rare? Here's the twist: not all nickels are created equal. While the vast majority of 1990 P Jefferson nickels were ordinary, a handful were struck under extremely unusual circumstances. We're talking about misaligned dies, planchet errors, and even rare full-step strikes where Monticello's steps are crystal clear, something collectors obsess over. These small differences are invisible to the average person but can mean the world to a serious collector. But there's another layer to this mystery: some of these nickels weren't just errors. They were perfectly preserved in mint condition, sealed away before they ever hit circulation. And among those rare survivors, some were struck using fresh dies in pristine alignment, producing coins with remarkable detail and shine. These flawless specimens are incredibly scarce. But what makes the 1990 piece so intriguing is that there are also rumors of planchet mix-ups, coins struck on blanks meant for dimes, foreign coins, or even struck in the wrong metal alloy entirely. Imagine finding a nickel that's too light, too shiny, or just different. That difference could mean tens of thousands of dollars. Now let's talk about what you should be looking for first. Always check the steps on Monticello. The more visible and unbroken the steps are, the higher the grade and the greater the value. These are called full-step nickels, and they're the cream of the crop. Second, examine the overall surface. Coins with zero scratches, no wear, and a sharp strike are candidates for high grades. And lastly, look for anything strange, missing letters, off-center designs, double dates, or coins that just feel odd. These could be rare error coins that escaped into the world unnoticed, and here's where it gets exciting. While most 1990p Jefferson Nickels are worth only face value, a tiny number of rare variants, those with perfect full steps, or with verified minting errors in uncirculated condition, have become the stuff of legend. And one of those rare coins? It was recently appraised and confirmed to have sold for an astonishing $65,000. That's right. $65,000. For a nickel, just imagine how many times someone handed over that kind of coin without realizing it. Imagine how many have been tossed into tip jars, vending machines, or donation bins. One 5-cent piece, hiding in plain sight, worth more than a year's salary for many. So don't overlook your change. That dull nickel in your pocket might be a rare treasure just waiting to be discovered. Number 4. We're unlocking the secret behind a very specific coin, the 1985 Jefferson Nickel with the P mint mark. If you've got one of these lying around, stick with us, because what seems like just another 5-cent piece could be hiding a secret worth thousands. Let's start with the basics, but don't be fooled. Because by the end of this video, you'll never look at your spare change the same way again. In 1985, the United States Mint in Philadelphia was in full operation, producing millions of coins every day. The Jefferson Nickel, in particular, had been a standard since 1938, and by 1985, it had become a familiar fixture in every American's pocket. On the front, we see Thomas Jefferson's thoughtful profile. On the back, the stately image of Monticello, his historic home. At first glance, the 1985p Jefferson Nickel seems like just another in a long line of common coins, but here's where it gets interesting. While hundreds of millions were produced, only a handful ever escaped the mint with what collectors call exceptional traits, qualities that elevate them from everyday currency to rare collectibles. These include coins with full steps on Monticello, extremely rare minting errors, or coins struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. Let's talk about full steps for a moment. For a Jefferson Nickel to be classified as a full step coin, it must show 5 or 6 distinct steps at the base of Monticello. On most nickels, especially from the 1980s, these steps are blurred or incomplete due to worn dies and high-speed production. But a coin with full, clean, sharply defined steps? That's a standout piece, and collectors will pay top dollar for it. Now imagine combining full steps with another factor, pristine condition. A 1985p Jefferson Nickel that has never been circulated, never been scratched, and still glows with its original luster. That's a coin worth noticing. These are referred to as mint state coins, and when professionally graded at the highest levels, they can achieve astonishing value. But there's more. The real stars of the numismatic world are the error coins, the freak accidents of the minting process. Some 1985 nickels were struck off-center. Some showed doubling in the lettering. Others were minted on planchets meant for other coins entirely, like a penny or a foreign denomination. These errors are incredibly rare, and each one is unique. It's these combinations, errors, full steps, perfect condition, that transform a regular 1985p Jefferson Nickel into something special. And when these rare examples come to market, collectors and investors alike take notice. So what's the takeaway? If you're sorting through your coin jar, don't just look at the quarters and dimes. Pause when you find a 1985 nickel. Look for that tiny P under the date. Hold it under the light. Are the steps on Monticello sharp and clear? Does the surface look flawless? Is there something just a little off about the strike or the design? Because if you're lucky, if you happen to stumble upon one of those extremely rare versions of the 1985p Jefferson Nickel, you could be looking at a tiny piece of history that's worth a whole lot more than 5 cents. And now, the moment you've been waiting. 4.1 Such 1985p Jefferson Nickel, discovered in mint state with exceptional clarity and a rare error, has been valued at an incredible $70,000. That's right, $70,000. For one small coin that most people would overlook in a heartbeat. So next time you get change at the store or dig through an old drawer, keep an eye out. Because the treasure you've been looking for? It might already be in your hands. Number 5. We're turning the spotlight onto a coin that most people wouldn't give a second glance to. It's small. It's modern. And it was minted in the millions. But hidden among those ordinary nickels from 2001 is a version so rare and mysterious, it could change everything you think you know about pocket change. Yes, we're talking about the 2001 Jefferson Nickel minted in Denver, marked with a little D under the year. Trust me, this is one coin that proves you should never judge a nickel by its cover. Now let's take a step back. It's the year 2001. America is on the edge of massive change. The tech boom is in full swing, flip phones are in every hand, and nobody knows what's coming next. Meanwhile, the Denver Mint is working overtime, producing millions of Jefferson Nickels to meet everyday demand. On the surface, nothing seems unusual, and yet, something very special slipped through the cracks that year. While most of the 2001 Jefferson Nickels look identical, Thomas Jefferson on the front, Monticello on the back, there's a small group that stand out. But you wouldn't know it unless you looked very closely. So what sets these rare 2001 nickels apart? It starts with quality. Most coins made for circulation have imperfections, weak strikes, scratches, blurry details. But once in a while, a coin is minted with near-perfect clarity, flawless, crisp, and sharply defined. And when it comes to the Jefferson Nickel, collectors especially look for what's called full steps on Monticello. That means you can see every single step at the base of Jefferson's home, clear as day. Finding a 2001 Jefferson Nickel with full steps is already a challenge. Most didn't survive the minting process with those details intact. But that's just the beginning. What really makes this coin legendary are the rare mint errors tied to it. Some 2001 nickels have been discovered with off-center strikes. Others may show signs of double dies, where parts of the design appear stamped more than once. And then, there's the ultimate prize, nickels struck on the wrong type of metal blank. That's right, some were accidentally minted using planchets meant for dimes or even foreign coins. These are extremely rare and often slip into circulation unnoticed. Imagine someone handing you a nickel at the drive-thru. You take it, shove it in your pocket, and never realize that it's one of only a few in the entire world. The thing about modern coin collecting is that most people assume newer coins aren't valuable. They're wrong. Rarity doesn't always mean old. Sometimes, it just means unusual. And when rarity meets condition, mint state, sharp detail, and certified errors, that's when the magic happens. Here's what you need to do if you have a 2001 Jefferson Nickel. First, look at the steps on Monticello. Are they clear? Can you count them all? Next, check the edges. Is the coin perfectly round? Or is it just slightly off-center? Flip it over. Is there any doubling in the letters or numbers? If you spot anything strange, or if the coin just feels different, you might be holding on to something incredible. And if you think all of this is just a fun story with no real payoff, think again, because one exceptional 2001 Jefferson Nickel, featuring a verified mint error and preserved in nearly flawless condition, was valued at a jaw-dropping $56,000. Yes, you heard that right, $56,000. For a nickel that could easily be mistaken for just another coin in your change jar. So take this as your sign. Don't overlook your nickels. Dig into those coin rolls, check your old jars, and pay attention to those Denver Mint marks. The next great discovery could be right in front of you, and it might just be worth more than you ever imagined. Thanks for joining me on this fascinating hunt through modern coin history. If you loved this video, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe for more rare coin reveals, and ring the bell so you never miss a story that could lead you to your next big find. Until next time, happy hunting, stay curious, and never underestimate the power of a 5-cent coin.